After almost 2 decades of reading tarot cards professionally, I use 4 particular spreads when I read cards, and for particular reasons. When we look at others online or whenever we see people reading tarot cards, I often wonder why they select the number of cards that they use. And many people don't regard certain positions. And so through the years I've been reading professionally, I have come down to 4 different spreads, and that would be 4 different lays. So we have this word spreads and this word lays. Tarot card spread and the tarot card lay. The spread basically refers to how many cards will be used in the reading. The lay refers to what position you'll put them down on the table in. One above the other, one next to the other, side by side. So we see in the common use of cards today, I don't see enough structure there or order, which means the intention is a little bit vague, even on the part of the reader. When I see cards drawn in a structure, orderly, that means the intention and the knowledge about the system is higher, all right, better, if you will. Now, we begin with a deck of tarot cards. This is the Radiant Rider-Waite Tarot deck, Radiant version of the Rider-Waite Tarot deck. It's the one I recommend. There's 78 cards here. I'd like to begin with a single card reading, 1 card. There's a couple of reasons why I would use this particular spread, which means 1 card. And the lay is a vertical, you lay the card down vertically as opposed to, let's say, horizontally. So there's some variances there that I'll be pointing out along the way. But a single card, 1 card tarot card reading, if it is not being used to answer a single question with a single answer, then the only other reflection that it will provide, the only true, accurate representative of what's going on in the reading and for the reader and the querent, will be viewed here, and it always is, as a card that covers the querent, that covers the situation that you're reading for. That's important to remember. And so this first card that we'll see in this video is for, at this time, a single card reading that is not linked with a single question in search of a single answer. This is what we would call a sort of a general reading. What card will I get? A single card reading, 1 card, like my card for the day. What card will I get as opposed to someone else that may draw from the deck? What card will you get? And what does it mean to me for today? And in the most precise use of the system and skill in the craft, this would be viewed, and it would absolutely represent and reflect is a better word, what is currently influencing the person you're reading for or the situation that you're reading for. So this is the card that covers you, and I use those words if I'm using this particular spread in this reading. This is the card that covers you, and it basically reflects what is currently influencing you at this time in your life. So I'll just do a simple cut to get the 1 card and you always get the card you get. I wouldn't worry about that. We'll talk maybe in some other videos why that is a law. You have to get the cards you get. There's no other way it could happen. And so here it is. And now the card is present. It's here at the top because I cut it. And there it is. And so we'll turn it over and we'll see what card came. And we have the King of Swords. It's in reversal. It's reversed. That's important. That's relevant to the reading. We cannot just ignore or put it aside that the card came reversed. I've watched many readers get a reverse card, and just before they even start, they turn it around upright. And that's sort of manipulating the reading, if you will. So we have a reversal here. The way to begin a proper interpretation of this card would be with 2 translations of the card first. You won't hear this information from anyone else out there. But this is absolutely the way to interpret a tarot card, is by first translating it twice. And what I mean by that is the first translation would be the astronomy that is linked to this card. And this is not a modern-day link or something new that people have done. The astronomy linked to each and every tarot card is as old as the tarot cards themselves. It was done intentionally, and I explain this in other videos that I present, why that is and why it's correct. But there is an astronomy attached to every tarot card. The astronomy that is attached to this card is fixed air, and that would be Aquarius. So this card is Aquarius in reverse, the principle of Aquarius in reverse. And if I had someone sitting here and I drew this card for them, and I would explain it like this. This is Aquarius, but it's in reverse. That's the astronomy. Now you have to translate it one more time before you can even begin to interpret it. And that means you go from the astronomy and you translate it into the astrology of the card. I explain in other videos the difference between astronomy and astrology. The astrology of this card, when it is upright, direct, not reversed, the principle of the card is saying intelligence. When it is, I'm wrong about that. Wipe the board. When the card is upright, the interpretation that follows, let me put it this way, the astrology of the card upright is intelligence. I'm wrong again. Wipe the board. So, the first interpretation of this card is it's astronomy, and that would be Aquarius. Why? Well, it's a fixed, the king meaning fixed, and the sword meaning air, fixed thought, and that would be in the zodiac Aquarius. The astrology of the principle of Aquarius is the difference between intelligence and wisdom. When the card is reversed, we have intelligence at play, or in effect, or influencing the querent, or the situation that I'm reading for. If the card is upright, then wisdom is in effect. Wisdom is affecting the situation. It's as simple as that. One of my nicknames for this card is Solomon's Sword. The king with the sword. Solomon, from the Bible, the judge, who was known to judge wisely. The difference between intelligence and wisdom is a connection to the heart versus no connection to the heart. And if I'm reading for someone and this card shows up, I'm telling them right off the bat. So we have 2 translations. One, the astronomy. Aquarius, the astrology, intelligence versus wisdom. Now the translation. Okay? The first translation is not the interpretation. It is strictly, purely the astronomy of the card linked from the ancient times and what they were doing by linking such things. The second translation, not interpretation yet, is intelligence versus wisdom. Now the interpretation. I would advise my client, who I'm reading for when this card comes in upside down, that they are under the influence of intelligence, but not wisdom. And this is the difference between fate and destiny. This is the difference between fortune and misfortune. This is still in the mind. This is not a pentacle. I'm not really able to speak about anything outside of the mind in the person's reality. This has to do with their thought consciousness. The sword card, a sword card in the deck of tarot cards, in the 4 suits. This is one of the suits. In the system is linked directly to the person's thought conscious self. So when I see a sword card come up like this, I can put away all the other aspects of the tarot system, and I'm dealing specifically with the person's thought conscious or thoughts. This says, because it's in reversal, that this person's thoughts are under the influence of intelligence. Might seem really logical, might seem very smart to carry out the way they are. But the card says that it will lead them back to square one because it is not built on wisdom. And then I would advise my client about the pure aspect of tarot. And that is, if your thoughts are not connected to your feeling self, if your thought self is not connected to your feeling self, then you will be intelligent, smart as can be. But the smart person will eventually outsmart themselves. That's a quote by Bill Smith, an engineer at Motorola Corporation. He knew it too, because at Motorola Corporation, an old industry that brought about some of the first computers, televisions, and such, engineering and mathematics and intelligence was very important. But he noticed that they would outsmart themselves with all their super intelligence, and the simplicity of a childlike mind would see the folly in their intelligence, but they didn't. So this is a sword card. We're dealing with a person's thoughts. You don't have to talk to them about their feelings, about their insight or direction, or about anything external. It really helps to wind down where you're at in the system and not be all over the place. So if you have a sword card in front of you, it's simple. You're talking about the person's thought processing, their thought consciousnness, the way they're thinking. And it's very simple. This is a card that deals with Aquarius, which is a symbol of the water bearer. That's Aquarius, an air sign. But its symbol is a man bearing water. So when we have this card in reversal, this man, this king, this thought is not bearing water, non-Aquarius, Aquarius in reverse. And it should not be followed. That pursuit should end. But when the card is upright, then it is the symbol of Aquarius and what that means, which is a thought, a man that bears water feeling. So a man, thought, bearing water, which is associated in the tarot system to feeling consciousness, not mood or emotion, feeling, intuitive feeling. And when the card is upright, the querent is under the influence. His thought consciousness is under the influence. His thoughts are being influenced by his feeling consciousness, his another self, the other you. And so much could be said after this explanation, where you'll get into a discussion with the person you're reading for, and they'll start talking to you about what may be happening in their life or what's at hand in their next moves. And, geez, I'm glad I talked to you because, I was really overthinking this and I was getting a lot of information from outside of me, but maybe this, what I'm trying to do or the way I'm trying to think doesn't bear water. Maybe it doesn't hold water, and it will fail in the end. So I would probably go forth from here after we get to that point where I have my querent interacting with the message or what the card is saying, and they're saying, okay, I see how I could be maybe carrying on and carrying out thought processes that I really am not connected to my feeling about. I haven't really even thought about that. Am I good? So then I might do another card, and this would be a 2-card reading now, where I'm taking a 1-card reading and developing it into a clearer picture. Sort of like in the old days when you developed a photograph, and you would put it into solutions and move it from one tray to the next, and slowly but surely it would begin to develop. And you should think of reading tarot cards in that way, and that's why I often like to start with a single card if there is no particular question, and it sets it up. It's like, this is what's influencing the person. They talk a little bit about it. You kind of get clear with them. You explain the nuances of the card relative to their thought processing, and you're on your way. Things are happening. So the next, I would say, okay, well, you have this card in reversal. Let's see what you should do next. And that would be the next card I'm going to show you. It'll be a card I'll put horizontally, and we'll have a cross. It'll be a 2-card reading, the card that covers them, and what crosses them. What do they need to do next? So we're developing a picture. And let me do that cut in front of the camera better, okay? So this is the card that crosses you. What needs to be done next? What skill needs to be acquired? Now we have the 4 of Wands. This is a card of engagement. See, you notice, look at it. There's an engagement. There's a wedding trestle ahead of the pair, and they have 3 wreaths, but they're about to be married. They're not married yet. They're engaged. And this is Venus in Aries, and just quickly, it means that thought consciousness is engaging feeling. How clear can this reading become? Back here, we say the King of Swords is reversed. Your thoughts are not engaging feeling. Your thoughts don't bear water. Aquarius, the water bearer, is in reverse. Your thoughts don't bear feeling. Your thoughts are not connected to feeling. The man is not bearing water. Your thoughts are not bearing water. Okay, what do I do next? Engage feeling. And this is a wand card. So we have the sword back here. We're dealing with thoughts. But back here, we're dealing with getting direction. The fire sticks, the torches, the usable fuel, the wands. Notice there's not a lot of leaves on these sticks, so they are seasoned wood. Usable fuel that could be ignited and be used as a torch or a light. Before every thought, within every feeling, is this principle of insight. I'll talk about it more later, how it relates to idea. But I'd like you to, for homework here, Google these 3 words. Origin of idea. Not meaning or definition. Origin. The original. What did it mean when they first made the word idea? Now, we think we have ideas. That's impossible. The word idea, if you look at the homework I've given you, will show you that the word idea originally meant seeing. You don't have a seeing. You're faced with one. Nobody ever had an idea. The wands, these are ideas. Insight, direction, the directive, the way to go. And if you're given direction when you're lost, that is a light. And it's represented by these sticks, these wands, that could be ignited and used for a torch to see your way. So the principle of the wands is you're getting direction, you're getting insight. You're being faced with a scene, being faced with an idea. And here we have this Aries element, Venus in Aries, desiring that first seeing. And this is the 4th card in the suit, so we're a little further along than the 2-3. But here we are desiring that first light, that Aries cardinal light. If you don't get it then, you kind of miss it, right? And you have to be kind of mindful and aware and self-aware to watch these inner workings in your mental alchemy, because it's important. And you'll keep repeating mistakes if you don't start changing the way you're thinking about all this. So here we have a male and a female, a feminine and masculine figure. And they're engaged. This is the card of engagements. If I got it in a reading, I might suggest that the person is either going to be invited to a wedding, maybe invited to some kind of a celebration or some kind of a festival even. But there's a card of engagements, and they are engaging their feminine. You see, here's the masculine. That's the Venus part of the equation, or the astrology and astronomy of this card. Venus in Aries. Well, Aries is cardinal fire. It's like a little kindled fire, like a little thing you would start a fire with. It's not a big fire. It's the thing you start a fire with. That's the kind of Aries light we have, Aries fire, the starter light. But it can go out. You have to fan it. You have to tend it so it'll stay up and you can light a bigger fire. Well, that's how inner seeing is. If you don't nurture it and kind of tender it when it first shows up, it just goes away and you're just off onto your logical pattern life again, and you wonder why it keeps ending up the same. The Venus aspect of this astronomy and astrology is Venus, your thought consciousness's ability to see the beauty in something, therefore desire it, and therefore want to serve it. Everybody has notions about Venus, the goddess of love, the goddess of beauty. Venus is her name. Even the association to the so-called planet Venus is really not really useful. Venus is a quality of thought consciousness. Venus is a capacity in thought consciousness to see the beauty in things or something and desire to serve it. That's where the Venus qualities of desire and beauty all come in. But it has nothing to do without an external stuff. This is your thought's ability to see the beauty in things. Many people see beauty in vanity, shallow, and all that. So you have to check your thought consciousness. I would be telling this to the person I'm reading for. This card says you must desire the first light. Venus, Aries, first fire, the initial scene. You have to desire that Venus. You have to see the beauty in it and engage with it. Next time I come back to the camera, we'll go on. We'll begin with a past, present, and future card reading, and how it lays out and how you develop that reading. And then we'll go on to some larger reading called the Sacred 10-card Celtic Cross tarot card reading. And you'll see that within the larger reading, the 10-card Celtic Cross reading, life reading, big reading, that it begins with this very cross I have in front of you now. So I teach this stuff. There's a link in my LinkTree in the bio above to the Tarot Academy. I'm your professor in that academy. It's a wonderful platform to learn tarot on. There's over 105 videos that I personally made on the subject. You will absolutely learn tarot, learn everything you pretty much would initially need to learn in order to be a skillful reader, a career reader. So it's the Recovered Tarot Academy link. Very reasonably priced. You get it's over 20 hours of content, and there are charts and graphs that come with the course that you'll receive by email. And it's the type of thing that you'll always have the link, and you can study tarot. It's a very, very extensive course. So some people take their time with it. You can come and go back to the link and resume your class and course along the way. Go back and review other videos along the way. And it's yours to have forever. And it is the first real basic understanding of tarot that any person who is either interested in tarot card readings, or is already reading tarot, it's the best thing you could have right now, because it comes from a recovered artifact, a recovered intellectual artifact. Tarot was recovered between the years 2010 and 2015. We'll talk about that some other time. But we have it. We have the artifact, and we teach it at the academy. So look in the link tree above. for that connection, that link to the Tarot Academy enrollment. It's very automated. You click that you want to enroll, you pay, and you're on your way. No restrictions, full access to all of the classes. Again, over 105 videos. Really full, comprehensive, complete, rather easy to understand because I talk it out right. It's a big topic, but we get it down to where a person could come through this course and absolutely be a professional tarot card reader, a confident tarot card reader. So check out that link. There's also a link in the link tree of my bio above for charts. We have a chart package, and it would just be essential. We give it to the persons that enroll. You get that with the enrollment, but we sell it on the LinkTree as an option. And if you'd like, look at that and see what's up with that. There's over 20 charts, I think. And they're charts that I personally made in order to retain the information that was gathered and gained from the recovery of the tarot artifact. Thank you.